So SAP includes a module to better manage your fixed assets, which might include computer equipment, intangibles, motorcycles, and more. So it is important to understand this topic to help you automate the management of your fixed assets while incorporating all the relevant information into reporting and decision making. So let's start with the fixed assets process flow from the update of the assets department to the asset master data. Okay, the asset data is maintained by the assets department. Now, when there is a fixed asset to be purchased, the assets department shall create an asset record using the asset master data functionality of the fixed assets module. So to go to this menu, the assets department needs to click on the financials menu, and then we can navigate to the fixed assets subfolder, and then we can now locate the asset master data menu. Okay, as you can see, the default screen is set to the search or the find button, so we need to click on the add an asset master data. Okay, so that we can start to edit. Okay, so now we can now begin by adding the relevant details of the fixed asset to be purchased. For this example, we can add some minimum details. For example, FA00001. Okay, and then we can now name it to computer of Jake. Okay, and then we can now add the tagging of the asset class by locating it on the approved asset class as maintained by the SAP administrator or by the SAP administrator. Alright, then let's just select this asset tagging, and then we can now add the inventory number, inventory 0001 or serial number 90190190110. Okay, and then we can add some employees if we need to. For example, we can select Edgardo, or we can add location. We can add KFC Fairview, and then technician. Maybe we can add other employee. We can, or maybe we can just create new one if there are no employees yet created on the system. Okay, then after that, we can now create on the add button so that we can start to add an asset master data. And then as you can see, you can see a note here below that the item is already created successfully. Okay, so with regards to processing of purchase order, of course it is already to be done by the purchasing department, so you need not anymore have an interference regarding that. Okay, so what is the next step of the fixed assets department? So the next step of the asset department is when the goods are actually on the possession of the company, and that is when you create a goods receipt purchase order. Okay, a goods receipt is meaning an inspection of the asset. Alright, so for a seamless process and to ensure that goods are properly inspected and received, the assets department need to create a goods receipt purchase order. So only those with goods receipt purchase order shall be processed by the accounting department for payment. And to create a goods receipt purchase order, the assets department needs to go to the purchasing menu. Let's locate that, and then locate and navigate the goods receipt PO, and then adding some details here by locating the relevant vendor. For example, Axel Prime Technology, and then locating the relevant item, which is FA0001 computer object, and then creating an amount. If the amount has already been set up by the purchasing department, you need not enter this one. But for this purpose, since we have not created yet a purchase order, we will just indicate some amount here. Okay. But for some cases, since it was already prepared by the purchasing department, you just do click this button, the copy from, and then after clicking that, you can just copy the relevant purchase order or purchase quotation. So it will be much easier. Okay. So in this example, since we have not created a new purchase order, then we just type in manually here so that we can proceed with this transaction. Okay. So if we are already fine with the content, then we can now click on the add button, and then from there, as you can see, it was already successful. So now, on the first step, you have created an asset master data from which the purchase will be made, and now you received the goods, or you inspected the goods and confirmed that the receiving is okay, and so that the accounting department can now process the related payables. So that is the very first basic steps so that we can proceed with this process.